Hey friends, my name is George Gianaris. I'm a chef of 36 years, and if you're here, it's because you like to eat healthy, save money, and cook like a pro. Today's episode is all about asparagus. It is a miracle vegetable. It's loaded with vitamins A, C, E, K, minerals like calcium, iron, copper, it's got folic acid, it's got protein, it's got antioxidants, and it's springtime, and it's the best time to get your asparagus. But you might have questions like, what's the difference between white, green, and purple asparagus? And why does it make your urine smell funny? And is that bad for you? I'm gonna give you 3 amazing recipes today that you're gonna use every single time you pass by asparagus in the supermarket. You're gonna pick it up and you're gonna cook one of these dishes, and you're gonna be very thankful that you watched this episode here on A Warehouse Chef. When you're out shopping, you're gonna come across 3 types of asparagus. The first asparagus is the most common asparagus. It's the one we're gonna be cooking today. It's the green. The second is the purple, and the third is the white. The white asparagus is basically green asparagus that's been grown in the dark. It's more of a gourmet asparagus that kind of is created that way for appearances. Unfortunately, it also has the least amount of vitamins and minerals out of all of the 3. The one with the greatest amount of vitamins and minerals is the common one, or the green one. And if you're health conscious, that's the one you should be consuming. The purple one has somewhere in the middle, a little less than the green. Either way, eat as much asparagus as you can. It's really good for you. But is it bad for you in larger quantities? Because I don't know if you've had asparagus before, but you may have noticed that asparagus makes your pee smell funny. That's because of asparagusic acid. I hope I got that right. It's an acid that's native to asparagus, and it could show up in the smell of your urine in 15 minutes and up to 4 or 5 hours even after you eat asparagus. Sometimes I've eaten so much asparagus that I smell it in my urine the next day. Not harmful in any way. And some people don't smell it. So there's a rumor going around that we have genetic dispositions to asparagusic acid, and that's partially true. Everybody's urine will smell when they eat asparagus, but not everybody has the genetic predisposition to smell it. It's just kind of an interesting thing. That was free. But today I'm going to give you 3 recipes that I promise you will use all the time. Simple recipes with simple ingredients, easy to make. One of the recipes I'm going to give you, you can use for breakfast and lunch. Let's talk a bit about cleaning asparagus. The bottom part of the asparagus is woody and has to be cut off. You can randomly cut them off in a certain area. A lot of people have this way of doing it where they take the asparagus, they bend it, and where it cracks, that's soft. Here down, it's not. But be aware of the fact that that's not always the case. If I were to bend it here, it could pop up here, but this part is also very soft. So it's a little bit of a myth of a way of cleaning asparagus. If you're gonna do it that way and break them off, then just go towards the bottom. The first part of the recipe is actually the same part for 2 recipes that I'm gonna give you today. The first one is gonna be a side dish. You're gonna take as much asparagus as you would like, and you're gonna put it in this cast iron skillet. Put a little olive oil in the bottom of the skillet, just a drizzle like that. Roll your asparagus around into that olive oil and just layer everything so that it's perfectly flat. Season your asparagus with salt and pepper. I'm using fresh ground Celtic sea salt, my favorite. You just want to take that and pop it in your oven when it's heated to 400 degrees. You're going to keep it in there for about 15-20 minutes, or until the asparagus begins to become al dente. This asparagus was in the oven for about 15 minutes. Look how nice and al dente it is, and how beautifully browned that it has become. This becomes one of your most iconic and delicious side dishes. Season it with fresh lemon and fresh lime. Use a fork if the limes aren't as soft as they should be. Mix it up. That side dish that I just showed you how to make with the asparagus, I make it at my restaurant. It is the #1 selling vegetable that I have on my menu. So you have your grilled asparagus, it's in the cast iron pan. You want to add some lemon to that, a little bit of lime to that. You added salt and pepper from before. You mix it up just a little bit. and then take it out of the pan. Leave all of those juices in that pan. And then you're gonna take your homemade butter. I have a video on butter, and this is my homemade version of it. Take about 2 tablespoons of it. You're gonna put it back into that cast iron pan and return that to the stove. Get it onto a medium-low temperature. I'm gonna crack about a dozen of these organic eggs into this bowl. I've been serving breakfast at my restaurant for the past 45, 46 years, 45 years, and I get requests, you know, egg whites only, 1 egg yolk, 2 whites. I never seem to get requests for just shells. I don't want any egg, just shells. I'm waiting for it. That'll be the latest and greatest craze. And we're gonna add just enough to create almost a 1/4 inch of coating at the bottom of this 12-inch pan, which will be about 6 eggs. What we're looking to do here is get the eggs to almost be partially cooked on the bottom, create like a half-cooked omelet, cooked on the bottom, raw on top. Once the eggs begin to firm up somewhat, we're gonna create a starburst pattern with our asparagus all around.
Start it up.
I know I should have really cut these all the same size, but you know, I don't want to waste any asparagus. Not the cheapest vegetable in the market. You're gonna cover this with a generous amount of Parmesan cheese. When I say generous, I mean everywhere and a good amount. Then we're going to take the rest of our eggs and make sure that all of the asparagus is completely coated. If not, you're gonna need to add some more eggs. And we smother the rest with more Parmesan cheese. This is gonna be out of this world. It's extremely common in Italian cuisine. This beautiful recipe was given to me by my dearest friends, Tony and Julie Capitola. This is a 12-inch skillet. In this batch, we added a solid 2.5 to 3 cups of Parmesan cheese. Then we're gonna take this, pop it in our oven at 400 degrees until it gets a nice coloration. And that is what we're looking for right there. So we've taken the internal temperature of this, and it is a whopping 180 degrees. 165 would have been more than enough to satisfy the requirements of the health department, but you definitely want that golden brown color on top, so sometimes it's gonna take a little longer. You can serve it right in a skillet, right to your guests. You can let it cool off. You can cut it into wedges and have them pre-portioned in the refrigerator, pop them out, reheat them. This is just a really versatile and spectacular, delicious dish that you can actually have for breakfast or for lunch. You know what? Why not? You could even have it for dinner. So let's give this a taste. That's really, really good. Wow. Also, be aware that this comes out ridiculously hot and tastes even better when it comes down to a slightly cooler temperature. Third recipe I'm going to show you today is a showstopper. It's very, very beautiful, absolutely delicious, easy to make. You could prep it in advance, and if you're going to have guests over, they will be impressed. Start out by taking your pan that you're gonna bake this in, and you're gonna coat it with butter so that the prosciutto doesn't stick to it. This happens to be a non-stick Le Creuset baking pan, so I don't really need to add the butter, but the butter imparts a really nice flavor to the asparagus. You take your prosciutto and you put it on your pan. You add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it, and you take your asparagus and you wrap it in the prosciutto. Like so. Voila. You coat it with a little bit more Parmesan cheese, and you're gonna finish it off with black pepper. Make sure that you're familiar with the prosciutto that you wrap the asparagus with. If that prosciutto is salty, it's gonna even get saltier when it cooks in the oven with the asparagus. So make sure that you use a prosciutto that is lightly salted, not heavily salted, not easy to find, or use less. Make sure you don't overlap the wraps. This goes in the oven at 350 for about 10, 12, 15 minutes, depending on your oven. You'll see it'll become a nice caramel color and the asparagus will have softened. And I like to just finish this off with a touch of balsamic glaze. If you get balsamic glaze, make sure you get something that is Italian and does not have any fillers in it. This is an exceptional one that I picked up from Costco. It's inexpensive, it's also delicious, and it really adds a nice brightness to this wonderful little appetizer you can serve to your guests, and it is absolutely spectacular. How do you cook your asparagus? Please let me know by leaving a comment down below. Also, if you try any one of these recipes, let me know how yours turns out. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you again soon. Be well.